Hi guys, this is Marv with my second special bite-sized episode for this month, which is International Podcast Month of September 2025. And this time I'm speaking with Jeremy from Maniacal Musings, who's going to now quickly explain what that show is.
Hey, nice to be here. Maniacal Music Musings is simply a show where anybody can come on, really. Podcasters, musicians are usually our go-to for guests, but basically it's a show where somebody brings us an album that they love for whatever reason. Could be something that inspired them, could be something that helped them become a musician. They could pick the reason, doesn't matter to us. And my co-host and I try to match it with our own albums. And that way, everybody has to experience all three albums each episode. And people love the concept because you get to discover music you may have never even heard of or fathomed existed. So it's just a way to get new music out to people in the world. And it's not as popular. It never hit the popularity quite yet that I wanted to, but people are loving it. And we also do special brackets every other week where we break down an artist or a topic and just figure out the best song that particular artist or the best song represent that topic. So those get a lot of traction too. People love watching them live. So it's a fun show. If you like music, it's definitely a show to check out.
It sounds cool. The guest brings an album to you. And then when you come on the show properly for a full on episode, we'll go into real detail on that because it's a fascinating idea. So, do you then these matches that you make, are they sort of like you listen to that album and then you suggest things that remind you of?
We each bring our own album we try to match the album. It doesn't always work out perfectly. There's a lot of unique people out there that are artists, so you can't always match perfectly. And you don't want to bring two of the same artists because that would get boring. Sometimes we break it down. We'll do an episode about a certain year, and we'll bring three albums from that year that we each of us picked, or something along those lines. And everybody has to pick a top five songs off each album that they really liked, which is the hard part because trying to rank songs off an album is oof. It can be difficult depending on how good the album is. And basically, everybody gives a review of each album of what they thought of it and what they thought of the artist if they haven't heard them before.
Sounds cool. I'm going to get that into my listening. I've got to listen to that now. So, anyway, what is the actual podcast that we are going to discuss this time that is a podcast that you love listening to?
Well, it's the podcast that got me into listening to podcasts. The podcast that got me into podcasting and made me want to be a podcaster is Monsters Among Us podcast.
Yeah.
I also do a paranormal show called Paranormal The New Normal. And this reinvoked my intrigue and my love of the paranormal by listening to the show. It's hosted by a great host named Derek Hayes. And it basically is a show where people can either call in and leave like messages, or they can write it and he'll read it. Their encounters with ghosts, UFOs, extraterrestrials, cryptids, Bigfoot, anything in the paranormal supernatural realm. It kind of reinvoked my love for the paranormal, and then it made me want to get into podcasting. And then when I saw the opportunity pop up in 2021, I was like, I'm jumping into this. Like, why not? I've been told I got a radio voice. I might as well use it.
Yep, absolutely. That's really smart what they're doing there because you've got interactivity as well with the audience. He's getting like the audience sending in these clips or things they want to discuss, and then he's responding to them, which is therefore feeding back to the audience, and there is that back and forth then between them, which is really smart, especially with a show like that.
Yeah, I got into it when he was in his second or third season, and he was a really small show back then. People knew it existed. Now he's huge. He has a Facebook group for a show that's grown substantially in the last. God, I started listening to it in like 2016, 17, somewhere around
Yep.
there. So it's been a good. That running almost a full decade now, and he's got quite a following now. And he actually was on Paranormal The New Normal back in the early days. I got him on the show to talk to him for an hour. It was still my greatest guest to this day. After 300 episodes, he's still the greatest guest because to talk to him and get to got to discuss paranormal with him one on one was awesome. It's always amazing to hear his opinion when he responds to people's like calls and messages about like what he thinks it was, or he gets skeptical. He gets a little skeptical of everything, but you gotta in this field. You can't just believe everything you hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not had that possibility yet. I've always wanted to chat to the people who got me into podcasting in the first place or listening to them. But I'll be honest, the people from Film Sack I've not heard anything back from, which is a film podcast. They've been going for 20 years. And then another show,
Jeez.
Punky Radio, they've just finished after doing 20 years as well. They just finished the other week and they're personal friends of mine, Punky Radio. But I've never had any of them on my show and I kept trying all these years. Maybe one of these days I'll get lucky.
Yeah, you never know. You just got to find the right person to reach out to.
Yeah, definitely. So, well, thanks for speaking with me today, Jeremy. How can people get hold of you online if they want to?
They can always go check out my podcasts, Paranormal The New Normal or Maniacal Music Musings. Both are available completely on YouTube. That's the only place to find every episode because changing podcatchers makes everything a mess. You could find them on YouTube completely. Just search the name of the podcast. You could get in contact with me personally just by looking up Squatchy Largefoot on Facebook, or you can go to at Juggalo Bastard on X or the Gram. If you're a paranormal professional or just someone with paranormal experiences and you want to come on the show, always feel free to reach out. And like I said, the music show will basically take anybody. It's a fun show to be on. That's all there is to it. We promote whatever you want us to promote, your music, your book, whatever, your podcast, whatever you want to promote. Yeah, best way to find me is right there.
All right. Thank you very much for this chat. It was quick, but I'm looking forward to a long form, like I said, chat with you sometime soon in the future that we'll discuss. You can find pods like us on any streaming platform, and if you just go to themarvzone.org, on that first page, there's all the links there to the socials and to email, which makes it simple. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.